The DNC already has an ad out about Ted Nugent. And remember, Mitt Romney asked for Ted Nugent's endorsement. So, you know, they've connected Obama to 100 different people. Sean Hannity literally connected to Obama to a guy he was standing in a crowd with that he didn't even see. A guy that, in a picture that was taken, there was a new Black Panther Party member all the way behind him in a huge crowd. And he's like, you see that? Obama was with the new Black Panthers. So, is it fair to connect Mitt Romney to a guy whose endorsement he enthusiastically seeked out? Hey, I guess fair is fair, so here's the new DNC ad.
Ted Nugent, he said he had a great conversation with you, and if Ted says you're okay, he endorsed you, I'm pretty tempted to do the same thing.
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, it's been fun getting to know him, Ted Nugent.
Our President and Attorney General, our Vice President Hillary Clinton, they're criminals. Get everybody in your lives to clean house in this vile, evil, America-hating administration. If Barack Obama becomes the president in November again, I will either be dead or in jail by this time next year. We need to ride into that battlefield and chop their heads off in November.
In Chicago, I said, hey, Obama, you might want to suck on one of these, you punk. You don't get that. Obama, he's a piece of shit. I told him to suck on my machine gun. Let's hear it for him.
If Barack Obama becomes the president in November again, I will either be dead or in jail by this time next year.
It's been fun getting to know him, Ted Nugent.
Oh, that was a great ad. Usually the DNC does kind of weak ads, in my opinion, but that was great.
It was, and it's totally true. Now, understand that when Mitt Romney sought Nugent's endorsement, he'd already done that thing about telling President Obama to suck on his machine gun, okay? And he'd also called Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi horrible words. I mean, it would make Rush Limbaugh blush, the things that he said. And Mitt Romney thinks, who cares? We don't get in trouble for our endorsements. And he went and sought him out. And then, you know that in that NRA talk that he gave, well, that's not in the clip, he also compared President Obama to a coyote who pees on couches and that he should be shot.
I actually have the direct quote right now. He says, "It isn't the enemy that ruined America. It's good people who bent over and let the enemy in. If the coyote's in your living room pissing on your couch, it's not the coyote's fault. It's your fault for not shooting him."
Right, and he talked about that in relationship to President Obama and the Democrats. So the Secret Service is investigating because now there's multiple threats within that. And of course, then he'll come out like a victim, like, oh my God, look at this, they're gonna put me in jail. Yeah, for threatening the president, that's what you get put in. And they're not even doing that. All they're doing is investigating. Now, I don't think he's serious because he's a coward. But nonetheless, so they asked Mitt Romney about this, you know, your big surrogate here, Ted Nugent, that you're so proud of, and they come up with this milquetoast answer. Divisive language is offensive, no matter what side of the political aisle it comes from. Mitt Romney believes everyone needs to be civil. Now, look, I'm tired of connecting, you know, one guy to another and guilt by association. The other side has done it a million times. The flip side is, are we supposed to stop the minute a Republican gets in trouble? Like, you do it to the Democrats over and over again, but when it's a Republican, no, let's not do guilt by association anymore, right? And then number two, imagine if the roles were reversed. A guy who is a gangster rapper gets on with an AK-47 on stage and says, President Bush, suck on this, right?
Oh my God.
And then he talks about cutting off Republican heads and shooting a Republican president.
No, you make an excellent point there, okay? Just think back to very recently when they had a poetry event at the White House and they invited Common, who, by the way, is not a gangster rapper, but they equated him to a gangster rapper. He was going there for poetry night. Okay.
They're like, if black people read poetry, they're like blaming Obama for it. Okay. Now you got a guy who's talking about beheadings, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, it's no big deal. Well, let's just be civil. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Let's just move on. Oh, it's totally unfair. Well, what about what you just did with Hillary Rosen and President Obama? She doesn't even work for him. He didn't ask for her endorsement. Nothing. No connection like this one. But no, we can do it to Democrats. We can't do it to Republicans. Well, look, to me, the whole thing is, the entire guilt by association thing is goofy, right? I don't think Mitt Romney believes that you should shoot any Democrat like a coyote who's peeing on your couch, right? At the same time, if they're going to play that game, well, then they're much more guilty of it than any Democrat.
And what's incredible about Mitt Romney is, look, the reason why he wanted Nugent's endorsement is because he's been not anti-gun, but in the past he has voted in favor of legislation that would create stricter gun laws, right? As a result, now he's trying to get endorsement from this gun nut to prove that he's in favor of guns, right? But obviously he didn't do his research and realize that Ted Nugent is an unstable guy. Okay, if you look at his past, he's done things that are a little questionable.
Yeah, I don't know that he didn't do his research. I think he thinks I'm a Republican. I never have to pay the consequences.